Good morning, beloveds. So, um, it's been 2 weeks since I got bit by a dog and fell off my bike. And, so I have the 2 puncture wounds and we've been putting Band-Aids on them, and every now and again, there's very little on the Band-Aid. So today I was like, all right, we're going to set the alarm and I'm going to get up and we're going to go for a walk. It's a short walk. It was only a mile and a half, but point being, so that I'm far enough along in the healing process. And I wanted to do it. And so I set the alarm and I come out. The first time I come into the living room and look around, I was like, it's still dark. What the heck? And then I go and do some stuff and I come back out and it's like, okay, it's lighter now. And I went, and the light looks weird. And anytime the light looks weird, either in the backyard or out the front door, then I know that there's something interesting going on. And my every instinct in me said, grab your phone and go outside. So I grabbed my phone and I went outside. And there was a rainbow. A rainbow, a full on, and maybe possibly just a scrap of a double rainbow. But I took several pictures, and then I went and took pictures of the weird orange cloud, which is what was causing the light. But with the sunrise coming up, and there was just drips, like it kind of felt like being spit on by the sky, because it was almost, but not quite raining. And and it was glorious. So, and since I'm outside with my phone taking pictures of it, I wanted Tom to see it. And I was afraid if I came back in and came back out, it'd be gone. So I called him and I was like, there's a rainbow. And he was like, all right, I'm coming. So cause he's like, who's calling me at 7:00 in the morning? Well, his wife, who's outside looking at the rainbow. So he came out to see the rainbow as well. So that's my thing. It's like, if the light looks weird, I'm going to go outside and see, because that means the sky's doing something pretty amazing. And today it paid off. I got a really cool rainbow, which I will post, probably when I go have my Band-Aids reapplied. So, yeah. All right. So that's it. And we're not even, it's allergy season, and I'm not even going to pretend that I can see. When I say that, my eyes are very dry, and when my eyes are very dry, my near vision just gets weird. So my distance vision is fine. The corrective lenses are working just like they should. And I found out that because they were made for people to use the computer, they have blue light blockers in them. So I don't have to wear the blue light glasses anymore. Not that I ever did, but you know what I mean. All right. So, it is October 24th. Our title is Something Greater. Our first quote is, I have meat to eat that ye know not of. My meat is to do the will of them that sent me, and to finish its work. And that is John 4:32 and 34, which is a weird quote. I suggest go read that one in context. Okay. We must understand that the Christ is not a person, but a principle. It was impossible for Jesus not to have become the Christ, as the human gave way to the divine, as the man gave way to God, as the flesh gave way to spirit, as the will of division gave way to the will of unity. Jesus, the man, became a living embodiment of the Christ. And that is Science of Mind, page 359. The presence of problems and obstacles in our lives is really an urging from life itself for us to grow beyond our present limitations and to realize our potential. If we were never challenged beyond our human capacity to find solutions, we would never be forced to give way to the divine. But when we are being pushed beyond our limits mentally and emotionally, the lesser gives way to the greater, and we find, often to our surprise, that something greater is running the show. This is the meat to eat that ye know not of, which Jesus spoke about. The meat is the divine inner directedness in our own lives, often remaining unnoticed by us until some situation forces our finite self to give way to infinity. From that moment on, we are never the same. Gone is the sting of the fear, the power of circumstance, the feeling of helplessness. Conditions and circumstances lose their hold on us because we have seen and experienced the something greater. The challenges may still appear. Once problematic outer conditions may still exist, but we have changed our relationship to them. Our humanhood bows to the grandeur of our divinity, and the influx of divinity transforms every aspect of our lives. There is a presence and a power at work in my life now. I give way to its wisdom, its strength, and its guidance. Recognizing that something greater operates within me. I allow it to guide the course of my life. It flows through me, bringing meaning and purpose to every step on my path. And that is KB. That is Kathy Boevink. 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 Okay. And so here's what I'm going to tell you. If you've had a mystical experience, you know what she's talking about. Okay? You know what she's talking about. The challenge with a mystical experience is exactly that. There is no language to explain a mystical experience to someone who hasn't had one. You sound crazy. And that is what it is. But when she talks about the way it changes your relationship, it's like once you have truly encountered God, once you have truly felt the Spirit move within you, once you have truly felt the divine coursing through you, coursing around you, once you have seen the divine, once the scales have fallen from your eyes, then you still, we go back to what does the enlightened do? What do you do before enlightenment? You chop wood and carry water. Well, what do you do after enlightenment? You chop wood and you carry water. But you move through the world differently. The obstacles of chopping wood and carrying water are no longer obstacles. They still need to be done, and you are still doing them, but you no longer see them as obstacles. What you see them as, more than likely, what you see them as is challenges. And you know that you are up to the task of meeting those challenges. When you come up against those challenges that seem to have no solution, then you are no longer worried about finding the solution, because you know that there is something greater within you that will guide you to the solutions. You are no longer doing it by yourself. Now here's the truth. You never were doing it by yourself. You just weren't listening. So, and that's what that is. I saw a meme the other day and I read it to Tom, and it's like, why we're afraid of surrendering is because we're afraid of losing control. The truth is we've never had control. What we've had was anxiety. So when we are willing to let go of the illusion of control, when we are willing to surrender to that something greater, then we start listening and we start seeing with that. I've talked about the spiritual lens. We've got the material lens and the spiritual lens. Well, we've got the material ear and we've got the spiritual ear. And suddenly things look different and sound different, and ideas crop up that we wouldn't have thought about before, because now we're open to the divine. The divine has always been there. We just haven't been paying attention. And that's one of those things. And that's the thing about having a mystical experience is, and that's kind of like this morning, because I looked up and the light was a little odd and I went, there's something amazing out there. That's what having a mystical experience does for you. It's because then you look up and you see that the light's a little weird, and it could be scary, but it's not. It's something amazing. You know, the light was orange. That could be scary, but no, I went, there's something amazing out there. And I was rewarded by a rainbow. And that's what it's like to see the greater to see something greater, to feel something greater. You learn to trust that instinct within you that says, there's something amazing out there. And the cool thing about that instinct is it will still warn you when, hey, maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to turn left instead of right. It'll still do that. It will serve to direct you away from things that are not yours to do. Because we talk about challenges. We all have them. This is the material universe. We're going to bump up against each other. And challenges are going to be created. Problems are created. Obstacles are created. But one of the things that will happen is when we open up to the divine, we will be guided to the ones that we can do something about. And we will be guided away from the things that are not ours to do. One of our teachers, and that would be Reverend Marcia, may she rest in power. That was one of the questions that when you come up against an obstacle, you can look at the obstacle and you can say, what about this is mine to do? And then listen, listen. And because sometimes there's nothing about this situation that you need to do anything about. Go about your business. And sometimes it will say, well, this is something you can do about it. And sometimes, it'll say, well, here is your opportunity to do this. And it doesn't, once you've had that mystical experience, it doesn't mean life is suddenly easy. But what it means is that you know that no matter what happens, you can handle it. Because you're not doing it by yourself. All right? And the cool thing about having a mystical experience is it rarely stops at one. It rarely stops at one. Having that mystical experience opens you up to seeing that miracle far more often. Far more often. And it doesn't have to be this grand all-encompassing, It can be little things like seeing a rainbow when you didn't expect to. So, you don't have to go out in the desert, starve, and dehydrate yourself and take weird plant things to have a mystical experience. What you have to do is be open to something greater, to know. And that's the point of spiritual practice. We do our spiritual practice every day to get there, whatever it is. So, all right. She had a lot of great things in there, but let me see if I can, if I'm going to, well, you know what? She's got that line. I give way to its wisdom, its strength, its guidance. I would say the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is exactly
Surprise.
that. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to give way to the divine, to recognize that we are more than we seem, to recognize that we are channels. So we give way to its wisdom, we give way to its strength, we give way to its divine. It's divine. We give way to its love. And when I say give way, I mean we make a way. We make a way through ourselves. We become that divine channel. That's the mission. All right? We are more than we seem. And wrapping right up into that more than we seem is the idea of sorry, it's allergy season, as I've said, of doing the spiritual practice of doing something loving for ourselves, doing something kind for ourselves, doing something compassionate for ourselves. You will never practice on a better subject than yourself, because you deserve your own love, you deserve your own kindness, you deserve your own compassion. It's about self-care. It's about creating that habit of responding to whatever happens, good, bad, indifferent, with love, kindness, and compassion. Because when we respond with that love, kindness, and compassion, a bad situation can be easily turned. And maybe if not easily, at least it can be turned. Okay? We can set it on its head by responding lovingly, kindly, and compassionately to everything. But it's also about joy. It's about making sure that we take time out to enjoy our lives. So it can look like taking a walk. It can look like taking a nap. It can look like I took a 4-hour nap yesterday. We don't want to talk about taking a nap. Obviously, I needed it. It can look like taking a walk. It can look like not taking a walk, resting. But it can also look like, hey, we had really amazing brownies yesterday, and I snagged a couple for later. So, and when I eat those brownies, I'm going to enjoy those brownies. So, that's what loving, kind, and compassionate is. It is a spiritual practice because you deserve your own love, you deserve your own kindness, you deserve your own compassion. It is a spiritual practice because we are creating a habit, a first response, a default setting, and we are creating a bank so that when we meet people that need a little extra, we have a little extra to spare. Or more importantly, we have a little extra to share. All right. So that is what I know. You got your mission, giving way to the divine. You have the spiritual practice of loving, kind, compassionate, and it can be, you don't get crazy with your spiritual practices. Pick one or two that fit best in your life. One spiritual practice every day. If you can fit others in, great. And the loving, kind, and compassionate thing can be a small thing. And sometimes the loving, kind, and compassionate thing can look like cutting something out, dropping something. Okay? Remember the question, is this mine to do? All right. As always, I encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body. I encourage you to drink plenty of water. Hydration is very important. I encourage you to get that bright light early in your day. It's cloudy out there, so the bright light was a little, but rainbow, that woke me up. In the words of Ernest Holmes, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time because it's a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. And it can be kicked off as easily as seeing a rainbow Monday morning. All right? It absolutely is a superpower. Just like the Christ consciousness, the Christ isn't a person. It's a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. The password is love. Absolutely everyone has access to it. Jesus was not the great exception. Jesus was the great example. Jesus said himself, I came here to teach you all of the things that I do, and more ye shall do. So remember that. All right? We all have access to that Christ consciousness. It comes pre-installed. Okay. And as always, take Emma's advice. Look for the good and praise it. That's why I keep talking about my rainbow. Okay. Yeah, that's what I know. So, here's the social media spiel. No. Yes. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark on the social medias that we are on. So please check all the stuff out. I am the Running Rev Ryan on the ones that I am on, so you're welcome to check that out. I archive these on the Running Rev Ryan because I don't want to clutter up the CLC page. I want y'all to be able to get to the Sunday services and guest speakers and all of that. Okay. And I've been doing this for 2.5 years, so there's a lot of videos now. Yeah. Now is when I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanting day, a rainbow day, a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious day, a cooler temperatures are coming day, at least here they are, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased and well represented always, always and forever. And that is the amazing thing about that state of grace. So take care of yourself always. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. Although we are discussing we're either going to go early vote either tomorrow or Wednesday. So if I don't make it, I'll do it that night. So, because I want to go and get that done. And my civic duty. All right. This is what I know. Yep. Know that you're loved. Take care of yourself. And I will see you next time.